Today's episode of the Outline Podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering the listeners of this podcast one free month and a free audiobook. You can redeem this by going to www.audibletrial.com/outlinepod. Once again, to redeem your free audiobook and get 30 days free, go to www.audibletrial.com/outlinepod. This episode is also brought to you by Grammarly. Step up your writing by downloading the browser enhancement or the app to your mobile device today. Go to getgrammarly.com/outlinepod. Once again, that's getgrammarly.com/outlinepod. Let's start the show.
The Outline with Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne. The Outline with Kevin Dwayne. The Outline with Kevin Dwayne. This is the Outline with Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne with Kevin Dwayne.
I finished Parental Discretion is Advised, the book by my best friend Garrett Kennedy over the weekend. And I just want people to give Ice Cube his things. Give Ice Cube all that he deserves. Like, real talk. I have been a fan of West Coast music because I'm from California. So there's always going to be a bias there. But when you really get into the details of NWA and you see how Eazy-E was finance, Dr. Dre was production, Ice Cube was content. Ice Cube's imagination is out of this world. Like, he gave us all the hood classics. I mean, Friday, Players Club, Barbershop. I mean, he even went into like children's movies. Are we there yet? I mean, Ice Cube, give him his things because the man is actually super intelligent. Always has been. And I remember watching Straight Outta Compton and thinking to myself, I can really relate to this guy. Because NWA was at the beginning of gangster rap. They are gangster rap. They started the shit, honestly. They were more villainized than the actual actions that they had before it started, if that makes sense. Like, Ice Cube, like me, grew up in like South Central in a decent neighborhood, was bussed out to a nice school, same story, liked to write, he was super smart, very good at English, but he wrote about what he saw, and he wrote about the things that he thought were problematic. But being a rapper and being villainized by media, he kind of took on the persona of it. But in reality, he's just a smart ass dude who was just fed up. And hearing his early work is that's just magical because he had an imagination out of this world and he called people to task, though very problematic, though a lot of misogyny, homophobia, sexism, all the shit was in there. Very confusing, but it was also that time period. And it's super inspiring. And I've been in this kind of Ice Cube mindset for the last few days since finishing the book because it just reminds you how dope he was. Like, even What Can I Do, which is I love that fucking song. But as a kid, it was just a jam that my sisters played. I didn't realize the storytelling and how hilarious and prominent the story he was telling was. You guys know, tat-ow, tat-ow, tat-ow. That shit goes so hard. But the actual story he's telling is cool because it's actually not him. And I think growing up, people always thought that because if a rapper was saying it, they were saying that's what they do. That wasn't his life he was telling. He was telling the story of a drug dealer. It starts in 1986. The guy's making hella money, kind of building up. He has like loyal ass people working for him. Things are going well. But then when things get a little bit hot, he ends up moving to Minnesota buys a house next to Prince, which I thought was hilarious and very clever that he used Prince's hometown and made sure it worked. Moved there, but then he gets caught up there. All his stuff gets repossessed. He ends up going to prison. It's now 1989. He gets 36 months, which is 3 years. He talks about he can't wait to get out in 92. He gets in a scuffle or something. He said he fucked up in prison. So instead of getting out in 92, he then gets out in 94. When he gets out in 94, he's asking around like, where's the money? Like, I don't, I'm trying to get this money. And people are like, well, people don't do this anymore. Most people are just jacking people. And he's like, well, I'm not trying to be fighting niggas. I'd rather just, sell dope or whatever. But it passed already. It was more, I guess, marijuana or something. But he didn't want to do that. So he ends up working at a McDonald's because he has a felony and he can't get a job anywhere. He never went to school. He never got an education. And he's at a loss. He's like, damn, what am I going to do? What can I do? So he works at McDonald's, and then Mac 10 comes up to rob the McDonald's. He's like, fuck this job. Can I roll with you? He rolls Mac 10, and then they go out and start fucking robbing people together. Now, the shit is hilarious, but it's good ass storytelling. And people like to write off rap as just BS or just like, oh, people are just putting words together that rhyme. No, it's straight up storytelling. And it can be very creative and very dope. And I think that was like the beginning of a lot of it. And I don't know, I just been a real Ice Cube mode lately. So excuse me while I have like a little standout moment. I just had to, because Ice Cube is dope. Give him his things. Give him his things. But anyway, Happy New Year, you guys. I hope you guys had a great New Year celebration. I hope it was everything you wanted it to be. Time has gone by so quickly since last week, since I did the last podcast. I swear to God, I was just sitting here recording last week's podcast, but I was also on vacation, and you know how that goes. When you're on vacation, shit flies by, like it never even happened, but I honestly had a great time off. Like I spent so much time relaxing and chilling and listening to music. So right now, I have 3 streaming services for music. I have Tidal, which they gave away free for 12 days, but I actually paid for it. But then I upgraded to Hi-Fi when they gave it away for free, because you could upgrade for free. So I upgrade to Hi-Fi. I have Spotify and I have Apple Music. And I am kind of an audiophile. Not kind of, I definitely am an audiophile. I care about quality. I care about things like that. While other people are just like, oh, you just need one of them, or people don't want to pay for music, I take my shit seriously. I like the sound to be a certain way. I like the interface to be a certain way. I like things to work. So last week, I was spending time listening to music on each streaming service to try to figure out which one I like the most. And it was the hardest thing ever, but I gotta be honest with you. Of the 3, Apple Music was my least favorite. But here's the thing, I'll never get rid of Apple Music because Apple Music is like the good boyfriend or the bad boyfriend with good penis. Like, swear to God, I just can't let Apple go. Like, I love Apple so much. I like Apple. They do have exclusivity. They do have hella content. They do have every album that I need. They also have iTunes Match, which takes my current catalog of music and loads into the cloud so I can access it anywhere, especially for like all those old MP3s I have, all those bonus tracks and unreleased tracks. Those aren't on Apple Music. So I like the fact that it uploads my music into the cloud so I can still play it within Apple Music. So that's why I can't let it go. And I love the interface. Apple Music has the best interface to me. I think it's user-friendly. I love navigating it. It's easy on the eyes. It's awesome. So I'm not letting Apple go. They're going to get my $10 every single month. There's just no way I'm going to do that. So that's why I'm keeping Apple Music. But on the other hand, Tidal. I fought Tidal for a long time. The reason, first of all, outside of the exclusive content, I didn't see a reason of having it. So I would only get it when Beyonce released something, or when Beyonce released something. Other than that, it was just free trials. But in the last couple weeks, Amazon Prime and Tidal released apps for Apple TV. At that point, it changed the game for me because now this stuff made sense to me. I didn't like having to airplay everything to my television, especially the concerts and videos and visuals and all that stuff. I didn't want to do that. Now there's an app on the TV. So when they announced that they had it, I downloaded it and I resubscribed. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I love watching all those concerts. I was watching Cardi B, I was watching Kalani, is it Kaylani? They were saying her name during the show, and I said, oh, I've been saying it wrong the whole time. I think it's Kaylani. I watched Migos, like all these great ass shows. They have so many concerts on there that you can watch. It makes sense when it's on a television. Now, after doing that, I did get into the playlist, and the playlists are actually really, really good. And I realized that that's a good place for finding like really, really good urban music because of the way they curate everything. And I do like supporting Black-owned businesses and artist-owned. The money is they're getting more money out of that subscription than Apple Music or Spotify. So I do like the fact that they're supporting that. So, in my curiosity, I upgraded to Tidal Hi-Fi. The difference between Tidal Standard and Hi-Fi has lossless audio. So that's like the highest quality audio you can listen to. And I was very impressed with it. I have headphones that I use for the show actually they're Sony and they're great headphones. So I would listen to the music on my phone and the clarity was amazing. Like I absolutely loved the clarity of it. But then it made me curious of how it held up against Apple Music and Spotify. Apple Music, you can't really change the settings. You can only change the EQs in your phone, but you have to use theirs. You can only go to treble booster, treble reducer. They don't give you any kind of leeway outside of that. So you get what you get pretty much. So it didn't even measure up. Now, with Spotify has an extreme level where you can get 320 kilobytes per second, which is a high CD quality, but you also have an equalizer too, where you can manually change it. Now, that changed the game with me. So I started playing the same songs on each app. I play one in Tidal, then I play the other in Spotify. I actually enjoyed Spotify more. Now, it was clear. Tidal, a lot like Dre Beats, is bass heavy. So it's all about bass. I like a balance across the board. I'm more of a Bose kind of guy. I like to hear the background singers. I like to hear the instruments. I don't like things to be drowned out with bass because you miss all the subtle changes that happen there. So Spotify actually ended up winning in sound quality. And also, Spotify has great playlists and radio and good selections too. So I'm actually going to keep Spotify and use that, I think, the most. I'm keeping Apple Music because, good dick, as they say. It's just, I can't get rid of Apple. Tidal, I'm going to keep it at standard, though. I'm not going to keep the hi-fi because I think Spotify sounds better. So I'm going to keep it at standard because I like all the concert footage. And yes, I'm spending I'm on someone's family plan of Spotify, so I won't be paying for Spotify. But I'm going to be paying $20, though, because I'm going to be paying for Tidal and Apple Music. So I have all three streaming services. That was a little tongue twister there. I have all three and I'm keeping them all. And it's kind of amazing. Like it makes me feel good. I don't have to choose. It's like, he's got to have it. And these are my three boyfriends, Spotify, Tidal, and Apple Music. So I did that last week and I had a blast. I listened to music all day for like 2 days in a row. And it was so blissful hearing all the little intricate details of each song and hear things that I didn't hear before. And like listening to music with headphones is really a lost art. We're always on the go or we're at work or we're playing music loudly. But if you really want to hear how the music is intended for you, play it in some headphones. I was playing Lenny Kravitz last week. I was in a Lenny Kravitz mood. And was it Fly Away? I think it was Fly Away. And the song, the instruments play in different ears, and it's an amazing ass experience. You have like the guitar in one ear, but you have the drums in the other, and they're playing like together. It's dope. Like it's so dope, and you will miss that if you listen to it just on a regular stereo. And so enjoyed that. I also finished the book like I talked about earlier, and I chilled. on Friday, after like literally after 444, when Jay-Z and Beyonce premiered Family Feud on Tidal, which I was happy I had, because guess what? I ain't gotta wait for no leaks or shit. I had it. I went right to it at 444 and watched it. Moments later, Elliot, who was on the show last year, he moved to DC a few months ago. And he knocked on my door. I didn't even know he was coming down. He surprised me. And so he came and chilled with me for a little bit. That was super exciting, which also changed the weekend up a little bit, because I wasn't sure what I was going to do for the new year. And so I ended up bringing the new year with him and some other friends, like Rosie, who also was on the show. We talked about feminism. She was on the show. We went to her place and we all bought in New Year's. It was like 7 or 8 of us. It was a great time. So we bought a new year together, and yeah, I spent the next day just reading, and I got right back to work, and here we are in the new year. I'm trying to grind it out this year. I want to give you guys more content. I've already begun the process. Make sure you go to kevindewayne.com to see it. Check out my latest piece on Janet Jackson. It's called Janet Jackson Life's Significant Soundtrack. I talk about how Janet Jackson has literally been around my entire life, and she soundtracks so many pivotal moments in it. You can check that on the site. Tomorrow, there's going to be a post from Mwabi, who's also been on the show. She's going to do a weekly column on the site. There's going to be some video stuff coming soon. I'm trying new things. I want to give more content, and I want to be more out there. So please go to kevindewayne.com. Get on the mailing list so you can be in the know. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. So, but right now, go check out the Janet Jackson piece. I was really pleased with how it came out. Because when you write, you have a certain image. And as a creative, I always have a flow that I want to have. So, it came out the way I wanted to come out. So I'm proud of it. So go check that out once this show is over. Now, as far as the other things that are going on, a lot happening right now. Let's see, where do I start? Anita Baker announced on her Twitter. First of all, the fact that Anita Baker has a Twitter where she claps back and goes off on people is absolutely amazing. But she announced that she is actually going on a farewell tour this year. And I am all for it. They haven't announced the actual schedule or dates or anything yet, but it's happening this year. And I would love to see her live, especially if it's the last time she's going to perform, Farewell tours always seem very sad, though, because it's like, though she hasn't released any new music in some years. I mean, she did do the Lately cover in 2012, but that was it. But as far as like albums, it's been years. She hasn't released anything. But when people say they're going on a farewell tour, it always feels like, girl, like that's so, like that's scary, because it's like, you about to leave here? Like, what's going on? It's so odd to me, but I get it. It's like a retirement per se. It's like, I'm not making any more music. I'm getting too old to perform. This is it. Wrap it up. I get it. But I definitely want to go, because Anita Baker is one of those people, and I wouldn't even argue this with anybody. It's just fact. Anita Baker doesn't have one bad album. Not one bad album. Every album that she released was excellent. I feel like she was a perfectionist. I feel like she really understood music, and she really connected well with her producers, and she also didn't take no shit, so it had to be right. Anita Baker's catalog is absolutely phenomenal. Every album is a masterpiece. It just is. I want to go to that show because there's going to be so many songs, a lot like going to a Mary J. Blige concert, a lot like going to a Janet Jackson concert. Like, there's so many hits. You can't, like, just perform everything. And I know she's going to cover all the goddamn songs. Like, come on now. Like, I need to go and see her. So that's definitely a plan, to see Anita Baker this year. I think that's going to be dope. So check that out. Be on the lookout for that. I definitely will be getting a ticket. Grownish, the spinoff of Blackish, premieres tonight on Freeform. I gotta figure out how to watch this show, because I love Yara Shahidi, and Trevor Jackson is fine as fuck. And the show just looks super dope. It's literally a different world part 2, because Blackish is Cosby Part 2, Cosby Show Part 2. And I want to see how it does. I saw some previews. I love the concept already. I love the whole text messaging with the you up and how they're playing with more adult themes because now she's in college. And I really want to see it. I have shitty cable. So basically, I have the basic plan that I don't use only so I can have the internet because, they play with you. You got to have a plan to get the internet at a certain speed and a certain price. Otherwise, it'll be higher for less. So I have basic cable and it's like probably 6 or 7 channels that I would actually watch. The rest is just like church and news or some shit. So I don't even have a box in my room. Like, I don't have a box connected to anything. I literally just have it for the internet, and I watch everything on Hulu or Netflix or HBO. I have all the apps now, but I don't have actual cable. So I got to figure out what it's streaming on or how I can watch it because I want to see this show, and I wouldn't mind watching it weekly if it's good. So that comes on tonight. I don't know the time and I don't want to lie to you, but just be on the lookout. It comes on tonight. Also, 911, the Angela Bassett show that's going to be on Fox, premieres tonight too. So that's another show I'll check out. I'm not a big fan of cop shows. They're just awkward to me. I've never cared. I don't like that type of action. It's just not my shit. Like, it's just not. I'm not here for it. But I will watch it because it's Angela Bassett. And I mean, it's Angela Bassett. So I'm going to check that out tonight. Black Mirror came back on Friday on Netflix. I've only watched one full episode. No, I watched 2 episodes, and I've been watching them out of order. I've been watching them based on how people have been trying to spoil them. So I'm like, let me watch this before anybody spoils it again. So I watched Crocodile, and I watched Hang the DJ. Hang the DJ was amazing. Crocodile was good. It was good, but Hang the DJ was amazing. It's about dating and dating apps. That's all I'll say. Amazing show. I loved it. Super good. Black Mirror is just a brilliant ass show. So if you watch any of those episodes, check it out. Dave Chappelle also released the second half of his comedy special. He did earlier last year. There were 2, and then he released the second 2 on Friday on Netflix. They're problematic. And I know that this is a thing. Comedy is comedy. And so the whole idea is that people should just allow people to say what they want to say. And that's fine. I get it. And Dave Chappelle is funny as hell. He's a very smart man. And I do think he's funny. I do think, but I don't feel like he's above critique though. And that's where things get real shaky. Because there are people who feel like comedy is above critique. And I don't think that. Now, in this episode or this portion of it, he does spend a lot of time with his feet on trans people again because the last time he did the same thing and got a lot of criticism for it. So he spent a length of time pretty much saying, I said what the fuck I said and the shit's funny, so fuck you. That's ultimately what it came across. However, to be fair, at the end of it, he then tried to bring it together and say like, oh, but like they still deserve rights and they have a certain strength and they don't deserve to be, he brought it together, but it was after an uncomfortable like 10 or 15 minutes of him talking more shit about it. And like, I get it. Like, it's freedom of speech. Like, I want everybody to be free because I say what the fuck I want to say and I stand in what I say. I just think it's just hard because the trans community is so marginalized and they're already at the bottom of the totem pole. So it was just awkward having him spend so much time on that. And then there was also a moment where he made it like a black versus trans thing. Like, it's like, oh, their rights don't matter. I was like, well, this is not an either or thing. Like, these are both marginalized groups. And that was awkward for me too. But I'm not here to drag anybody. I'm not that. Like, listen, Dave Chappelle is great. He's funny. It's his show. It's his content. And he can say whatever the fuck he wants to say. I was a little bit uncomfortable though. I was uncomfortable, and not many people are. I felt he spent too much time on it. Yes, he did bring it together. He did, soften it up in the end with like this kind of positive message. But there are people out there who will take that shit too far, and it only fuels them more to hate these people. That's what I'm saying. It's not just entertainment. It's not just comedy. There are people out there who take that shit too far and they feel justified in their hate because of jokes like that. And that's that. But once again, it's his show. It's his content. He's funny as hell. Get money, do your thing. But it did make me uncomfortable because you're hurting the person that's lowest on the totem pole. It's like a bullying tactic. But let him tell it, everybody gets it evenly. And I don't know that that's true, but whatever. Fair enough. So that's on his two specials. I watched the first one. It was okay. The second one, I watched like maybe 10 or 15 minutes, but I was kind of over it. I think I was like, I'll come back to this later, but it was cool. I think the first half of the series that came out earlier last year was a lot more funny, but this one is still effective. I think I just wasn't in the mindset to continue watching it because of my own personal feelings about the content, but that is that. Other things that I've seen, I thought was weird. I saw this morning on Twitter, and it was hilarious to me. Well, not hilarious, but there were two stories that were one was in Atlanta, in Cartersville. There was a New Year's birthday party, and 70 plus people were arrested at a lingerie themed party. This was on 11alive.com. What I found funny, the story was suspect as fuck. They said that the party got really loud and then someone called in gunshots. And that's when the cops went out there. I'm quoting this from the article. It says, when officers got to the party, they were met with the smell of marijuana and several people trying to run from the area. After entering the home, officers said they saw weed in plain view and confiscated a semi-automatic weapon. Because of the presence of drugs, a gun, and the sheer number of people inside, Cartersville police notified the Bartow Cartersville Drug Task Force to assist. So the task force got a search warrant so they could search everybody. I'm like, okay, this just seems crazy as fuck, but okay, cool. So they recovered 2 weapons, individually wrapped packages of marijuana, and several smoking devices from the first floor. The drug agents also found individually wrapped packages of cocaine and other paraphernalia on several people. Now, this isn't even the shocking part. This sounds like normal shit to me. Sorry, it just does. The people they arrested over 70 people. The ages of those arrested range from 15 to 31. That's the part that I'm trying to understand. So this is a lingerie party. And obviously, I let's just call it what it is. This is a sex party. That's what as soon as I read lingerie theme, I said, no, they was fucking. They was getting high and they was fucking. And there was probably some money involved too. So, assumption, whatever. They was fucking. And it was New Year's. Get out of here. But 15 to 31. I will be 32 years old. And almost a little over 2 months. March 9th, I will send you my Cash App profile. Feel free to donate, PayPal, that's fine. But March 9th, I will be 32. So I'm 31 right now. So you mean to tell me someone my age was at a party and there were also 15-year-old people there too? Like, what do y'all even have in fucking common? They was fucking. I'm telling y'all, they was fucking in there. But the whole story was about the drugs. I'm like, well, I'm glad you guys focused on that, I guess. But I just thought that was crazy. I'm like, what in the hell? Like, I don't even like going to people's houses where there's people who are too young. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is your young ass doing here? Like, anybody under 27 is suspect to me, real talk. But 15 at a New Year's party? And of course you think, where are their parents? But it was a New Year's party. It was late at night. And you got, who even knows? And then the other story that was right under that, and I was like, oh, this is just like a free-for-all here. It was in Phoenix. The title says driver hits pedestrian, continues driving with him on the hood of the car. With his body still on the hood of her car, police say the woman then drove to her apartment a block away, never calling 911. This was a 65-year-old woman. She hit someone named Ramon Corrales. He was 35. With his body on the car, she drove to her apartment. When the officers arrived, they found her unpacking groceries with his body just feet away from the car. Now, sadly, this man died, which I figure because this sounds crazy as fuck. But people in the neighborhood, for example, Lupe Alafa, I'm sorry, I'm butchering names right now. Lupe Alafa has lived in a house on the corner for 40 years. He says accidents are so common in that area, especially involving pedestrians, that neighbors call the area Dead Man's Corner. Like, how? How though? Y'all just killing people and it's just like whatever because y'all hit them? Like, what? He said the intersection is full of people constantly crossing both sides of 7th Avenue. He finds the school down the street especially concerning. He continues, I've seen children try to cross the crosswalk and they're just stuck in the middle because people don't want to stop. What the fuck? What the fuck? And they've not identified the woman because she hasn't been arrested or booked into jail yet. Like, you hit a man. He was in the hood of your car. You didn't call the police. You literally drove with a body on your fucking hood, blocking your vision and shit. Oh my God. And then you get there and unpack your groceries. But she hasn't been booked yet. She gotta be a white woman. She gotta be a white woman. She has to be a white woman. Oh my God. If she's not a white woman, I'm gonna be so upset because what? Like how? How the fuck? In 2018? How? Oh my God. Like that is the most, nah. Nope. Can't do it. I won't do it. Not now. Nope. I can't. Wow. Like I was astounded when I read it this morning, but now I'm even more just reading it again. Just it blows my mind. Like people literally just get away with murder of other people. But let that have been a dog. Oh, her ass would have been under the jail. Under it. But whatever. That's that. That's all I have for the updates and things that are going on in the last few days of the new year. But I am happy that I don't know, like I'm not on some new year, new me shit because I've been grinding for a minute. And like I talked last week, I've found out how to manifest things. I found out how to work hard. So I'm all about working right now. So this week's thought is this. Understand that your time is just that. It's your time. You don't owe anybody it. You don't have to give anybody it. Now, granted, yeah, we got to go out and work and we have to give our best at work. But outside of that, make sure you do things for yourself. Make sure you have moments to yourself. I thought about this yesterday. Yesterday being the 2nd and me going back to work. I woke up and yes, I work from home. So I do have a privilege where I can do a little bit more. So to all you traveling commuters who, got to get your kids to school and do all this shit, I get it. I know that I operate on a different kind of lifestyle and I get it. But even then, you can still make time for yourself. You may have to wake up a little bit earlier or stay up a little bit late, but you still deserve it. You still got to get your time back. So yesterday when I woke up, I said to myself, I want to start this day off with me. I've always thought it was a bad idea because my parents instilled this in me. You should never wake up and then go straight to work, or you should never wake up and go straight to school. You should always have time for yourself because that starts the intention for the day. That's kind of like, that's how your whole day is going to go. If you're rushing, you're going to feel rushed the entire day. You're always going to feel on edge. That tension is always going to be there. And as I say this, it makes me think about my parents and how dope they were. Like, I loved my parents while they were still alive. Like, loved them. Like, we were good. But after the fact, even then, as I get older, I'm realizing how amazing they were and the wealth of knowledge they had and the things that they put me on that were so next level. And that was one of them. You should never just wake up and go straight into your day. You should have a moment to yourself. They will wake me up early and say, "Get up, like eat breakfast, read something fictional before school that's not school related. Watch the morning news, watch music videos, but don't just wake up, get dressed, and go to school." I used to hate it because I wanted to sleep. Like, leave me the fuck alone. I want to sleep. Shit. But as I got older, it started making sense. So fast forward to now, yesterday, I was like, I want to have an amazing day. I'm going back to work, so I know it's probably going to be hectic because I'm going to be playing catch up from a vacation. When you come back to work after being off, it tends to be a lot of BS. So I was like, let me start this day off right. I started by making a cup of tea. I had some tea. Then I ran a hot shower. I put my oil diffuser in the bathroom. Ran it hot, closed the door before getting in it so it could steam up. So I create like this whole steam effect with eucalyptus running. Turned the lights out with the blue light from the oil diffuser, and then my little speaker. I played the Spa Station on Apple Music. They have a Spa Station that just plays like all the dope, soothing shit. I took a hot ass shower with the eucalyptus and also kind of meditating. And in that moment, I said to myself, this moment belongs to me. It doesn't belong to work. It doesn't belong to any drama. It doesn't belong to any friends. It doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to me. This is my moment to show gratitude, to be thankful, to be mindful of all that I have going on. And that's how I started my day. After that, came out. I got a planner that I want to use this year, an actual written planner. I wrote in it. I'm like, let me plan my day out. And I did everything that I said I was going to do. I'm going to work. I said I'm going to go to yoga. I went to yoga yesterday. I said I was going to write a piece. I wrote that piece. It's up now. That's the Janet Jackson piece. And I said I was going to record the podcast. Now, didn't do that yesterday. I did it right now, but it's going to be up and I'm going to cross that off. But I had an amazing day yesterday, but it's because I started off with me and I ended it off with me. And I want that message to reign true this week. Make sure that you honor your own time. Don't allow people to abuse it. And always take a moment for yourself. Always have a moment to yourself. Always honor yourself. Do something. Whether it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. I prefer an hour. I mean, there's 24 hours in a day. And I don't think you should spend that working and sleeping. You should have moments of enjoyment, moments of mindfulness, moments of whatever you want it to be, but it's yours. So take back your time. And yeah, that's it. Happy New Year's, you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Please share it with your friends. Take your favorite quote, put hashtag the Outline Podcast, tag me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, The World of Kevin. Like the page, The Outline Podcast on Facebook. Rate it, comment, all that good stuff. Leave everything on SoundCloud. It's a new year. We want to go to new levels together. And yeah, I will talk to you all next week. Peace out.